Hi, everyone, and welcome to the new year. It's good to be with you. I'm Jim Gordon, as you probably know by now, and I'm here to share a few thoughts for the new year, thoughts of letting go of the old and embracing the new. So let's begin by once again sitting here with each other, breathing slowly and deeply, in through the nose and out through the mouth with our bellies soft and relaxed. Remember, this is a concentrated meditation. We're concentrating on, focusing on the breath coming in through our nose and out through our mouth, on our bellies being soft and relaxed, and on the word soft as we breathe in and belly as we breathe out. Relaxing into this moment, that is a time of change as well as a time of stillness. The change of the year, the stillness of the moment. Thoughts come, let them go. Gently bring your mind back to soft belly. Okay, let's open our eyes and let our attention come back in the room. Once again, for me, and perhaps for you as well, times of change, especially times of intense change, also are times when it's very important to be quiet and still and present, available to the change, moving with it, relaxing with it. Today, I would just like to share a few thoughts with you about what's been going on with me, perhaps shining some light on what's been happening with you in recent weeks and months, and then looking a bit forward to what's going to be happening in 2021. Last night, I was talking with my dear friend Sharon. We've been friends for 50 years now. And for some of those years, quite a long time ago, we were married as well. And we've stayed very close friends. And she's going through a very difficult time, kind of a time of illness, perhaps a COVID infection that happened at the beginning of the pandemic that was never diagnosed, but that has taken a toll and continues to take a toll. And last night, I've been spending a good deal of time with her. And last night we were talking, and she said something to me that really, really struck me. She said, "Our vulnerabilities are a gift we give to those who see us." And I love that. That whole idea that being vulnerable, which makes so many of us so nervous, is actually a gift that we can give to those who see us as we are. And I suppose the corollary is, if people can see us as we are, then we can allow ourselves to be vulnerable. I think this is one of the most important lessons for me, lessons of the work at the Center for Mind Body Medicine, is creating a space in which we can be vulnerable, in which we can see ourselves, and our vulnerability is a gift of self-awareness, a gift of self-appreciation, for which we can be grateful. And at the same time, it's a gift to those others who see us. And I've been thinking a lot about that during the pandemic, when it's seemed ever more important to reach out to people who are dear to me in one way or another, including people I may not have been in contact with for some time. And I know in these webinars, I've talked several times about paying attention to that still small voice that is saying, call, FaceTime, Zoom, X, Y, or Z, whichever person it is. And what I've been discovering increasingly during the course of this last year, both in the programs we have at the Center for Mind Body Medicine, and also in my interaction with friends and families, that gift of vulnerability, the gift of vulnerability to others, of their vulnerability to me, and of my willingness to embrace my own vulnerability, of how that is increasingly a gift to me as well. So after Sharon said these words, which seemed to me so wise and so appropriate to this time, a phrase popped into my head, and it was, letting go lives well. I thought, that's a interesting one. It was a kind of shorter, more direct, more Anglo-Saxon version of something that was a bit more flowery about letting go. But the truth of it seems so direct that along with a vulnerability, there comes, potentially at least, a willingness to let go of what we no longer need in ourselves, what no longer serves us in the world around us. And of course, that's the work, or the aim, or the experience of meditation, is letting those thoughts, letting those feelings, letting those sensations, letting those memories come, experiencing them, and letting them go. And the more we're able to move into that space of relaxed moment-to-moment awareness, the more we discover that those who let go, letting go, lives well. It's not quite grammatical, but you get the idea. If we let go, living well comes more easily. So after those thoughts were going through my mind, it occurred to me that I wanted to read Sharon some poems by Gerard Manley Hopkins. And I think it came to me because he's such a celebrant of the moment. He was a 19th century British Jesuit poet who was not at all well known during his lifetime, but became very well known toward the end of his life and after he died. And I read a few of the poems, but the one that I thought I would share with you today, because it seems so right for this time, so important to all of us appreciating who we are, is one called Pied Beauty, Pied, beauty, pied being like spotted, Pied Beauty. Glory be to God for dappled things, for skies of couple color as a brinded cow, for rose moles all in stipples upon trout that swim, fresh fire-cold chestnut falls, finches' wings, landscape plotted and pieced, fold, fallow and plow, and all trades, their gear and tackle and trim, all things counter, original, spare, strange, whatever is fickle, freckled, who knows how, with swift, slow, sweet, sour, a dazzle, dim, he fathers forth, whose beauty is past change. Praise him. And this poem, which I first read when I was a kid, always brings tears to my eyes, because it is such a celebration of that uniqueness, that difference, that dappled, spotted quality that's there in all of us, each of our uniqueness. And the last line, and of course, Gerard Manley Hopkins was Christian, Jesuit priest, the last line, he fathers forth whose beauty is past change, praise him. And whether you take that in a Christian context or you take it in a more general mystical context, it is the sense of praising whatever it is that gives rise to whatever is, whoever we are, whoever everyone else is, whatever is there in all of nature. So that sense of the glory, whether it's the glory of God or the glory of nature or the Great Spirit or the glory of existence, however we want to think about it. So I read that, and there were tears in my eyes when I read it then, as there are now. And then I looked at Sharon and I said, you know, we've got to sing a little song for this new year. And it came to us at the same time. And it was, all we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. So I'm not going to sing any more of it, but just, it's my wish and my hope for the new year that we can accept and embrace our vulnerability, our uniqueness, our brindled, our spotted, our mold quality, our difference, and our beauty in that. And that as we do that, we can give peace a chance. As John and Yoko were singing all those years ago, and understanding that peace is both internal and external. And that brings me back to about a year and a half ago, before the pandemic, when I was in South Sudan with Ania Thaoul, who's on our faculty, South Sudanese human rights lawyer, and Museret Al-Azer, who's our associate director for our global trauma relief for all our international programs. And we were doing a 2-day workshop. And it was a workshop that was organized, that Anieth had organized with the opposing parties in South Sudan. Essentially, the two major tribal groups were the Nuer and the Dinka. And they'd been warring for a number of years, warring for control of the government, and they were still fighting in the countryside. But they were also coming together to form a new government with great trepidation and great mistrust. And we had a number of leaders from both of those parties who came together with us for 2 days, along with leaders of the women's groups in South Sudan and many of the non-government organizations and the army, and Forrest Whitaker's group that was there with youth empowerment, all different kinds of groups coming together. And on the opening morning of this 2-day workshop, the Minister of Agriculture came, a very serious, strong-looking man. And he got in front of the room, and in front of this room of people who, many of whom have been fighting with each other, literally with guns in the countryside for years, he said to them, we cannot have outer peace, peace among our parties, without inner peace. And I welcome you to this workshop where we can perhaps experience the inner peace that will make the outer peace possible. So I want to salute him and thank him and share him and his words and that possibility here with all of us here in a country where so many of us have been fearful of and warring with each other in recent years. The hope that everything that we're doing to appreciate and not fear difference, to relax with our vulnerabilities, to come into a place where we're a little more peaceful inside, that can lead to the peace that all of us need within ourselves, between ourselves and others, and in the world around us. Now, before we close the session, I want to suggest a ritual for you for New Year's Day. This may be one that you've participated in before. It's one I learned, I don't know, maybe 30 years ago, something like that, 30 years ago when I was in Paris with my friends Robert and Erica Kramer. And on New Year's Day, what they did is they gathered around the fire, the family gathered around the fire, and everyone wrote down on a piece of paper whatever they wanted to leave behind and read it aloud and threw it into the fire. And then we wrote down as well on another piece of paper what we would like to bring into the new year with us. And I generally keep these pieces of paper. Maybe I'll put it on my refrigerator or near the computer or near my bed or somewhere, just to remind me of what I want to bring forward. So I suggest this to you. You can do this after we finish. Just take a few minutes, write down what you want to leave behind. I want to leave behind any notion that I'm invulnerable. Any sense I have that I always have to be tough and right and on top of everything all the time. Just let that go. And I want to leave behind fear of the unknown. Just let that go as well. And what I want to bring with me is an appreciation of my own vulnerability, of my own uniqueness, and of the beautiful uniqueness of every being I meet, every human, every animal, every encounter with the natural world, an appreciation of that dappled difference that's everywhere. And I want to bring forward with me as well a willingness to continue to discover and live in that inner peace, which admits of vulnerability, which admits of tear and laughter and anger, and that accepts it all. And in accepting the change comes to that peaceful place of stability. So I invite you to do the same. I will write down what I want to leave behind. I'll burn it. I'll write down what I want to bring with me. And I invite you to do the same. And when we meet again, perhaps next week, if you'd like to share what you've written, what you've left behind, what you're bringing with me, what you're bringing with you, what you're willing to share with me that you're bringing with you into this new year, please do. Please send that in, and we'll read some of what you've written the next time we get together. So for now, let's just sit for another moment or two and breathe together slowly and deeply, in through the nose and out through the mouth. As I do this and relax into this moment, I'm also relaxing into the joy that I've found in being with you. Some of you for the last 9 months, some of you for a little less time, some of you perhaps for the first time this afternoon. Breathing slowly and deeply. Breathing in the new, breathing out the old. Relaxing in this moment of change. At the still point of the turning world. Let's open our eyes for a moment. Thank you again for being with me. Thanks to all of us for coming together. See you soon.